everyone, how's it going?
Hi,
Hey.
Harvey.
Great.
Good.
Nice to see everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. So I'm really glad we're all meeting up today to hang out and talk about how to help our clients support better sleep during stressful times, because this is something that's coming up with a lot of my clients. They're just not sleeping very well, and it's really interfering with their goals and stuff. So I was just curious to find out kind of what you guys were doing to help your clients deal with this. So who has found some similar things and has some ideas? Yeah, Christine.
I got something. Actually, in my massage therapy practice, I find that how people sleep affects them like all the time, but if we're not sleeping well, they feel pain even more. So I call it sleeping posture. There's a lot of information about it online, like good images that people could look up. But my basic way of approaching it is asking someone, if you were sitting or standing in the position that you sleep in for 3 to 8 hours, like, would you be comfortable? Because a lot of people do this, or they're twisted.
Yeah.
And once we think about it that way, they think, no, I'm not. So the basic thing is most people sleep on their back or their side. We have a few stomach sleepers. But if you're on your back or on your side, you just want your ears over your shoulders, and you want your back so that your ears, shoulders, and hips are lined up. Some people just need a little roll under their neck. Like some people's pillows do this. Some people's pillows is perfect, and some people their head drops back. They might snore from that. So if their ears are over their shoulders, some people love a pillow under their knees. I find that their head's in line with their spine and their knees are soft. They sleep more comfortably on their back. Or like if their arms fall asleep, just having a little pillow on either side helps prevent pain. But the back sleepers, I find I'm a side sleeper. So I like to have like a pillow under my head, like tucked between my shoulder and my ear so that my head stays straight. And then I like to see my hand on the pillow next to me, because I find when I do this, or if I do this, I wake up with neck and upper back pain. So my tip would be, if you're sleeping on your side, instead of having your head forward, have your ears over your shoulders, have your bottom hand on your pillow, and have your top hand, have your elbow by your waist. And then I usually put a pillow between or under my knee so that my hips aren't twisted. It looks like the Running Man, or it looks like I'm sitting in a chair. So
Interesting.
So those are my tips.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have this love-hate relationship with my pillows. I never know which way to sleep. During the day, I can sleep on my back and take a nap, take the most epic naps that are just like I took drugs. They're amazing.
Oh, I love naps.
But then at night, I can't sleep on my back. And then I try to sleep on my side and my shoulder gets all tweaked. And then I go and I turn around on the other side, and then the pillow gets hot, so I have to turn it over. And then I try hugging a pillow, and then my body gets tweaked.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. It's like I'm totally confused with my pillows. I wonder how many people actually share that experience.
I have the same experience. I've got 6 pillows in my bed, and some of them, I've got 6, and 2 of them will get tossed, 4 of them will get tossed, and then I'm a side sleeper like you, so I end up hugging the pillow, and then a pillow between my legs, and then I fall asleep.
Yeah. And I can't take over-the-counter sleep. I can't take medication, like even the over-the-counter stuff. My body doesn't like it.
Yeah, me either.
It has a counter effect on me. It'll wake me up in the middle of the night. I wake up and my body's like, whoa!
Yes.
Step out of me.
That's happened before too. It's so awful.
Crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm curious what the hypnotherapist has for sleeping tidbits.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let me say that I sleep in almost exact same position that you described, Christine. I sleep on my side. I always sleep with a pillow between my legs, kind of curled up in the fetal position. I have a skinny little pillow, so my head's not, tweaked like that. I can't sleep with pillows that make my head, in that position. So I pretty much sleep like a baby, and I wake up with no back pain ever since I've been sleeping in this position. I can't really sleep on my back. I have a tendency to snore if I sleep on my back, and I wake up. So I'm happy to say that that position I highly recommend, and just one pillow and one between my legs. And I take that little pillow everywhere I go.
Oh, I bet that
traveling.
makes your wife happy too.
Christine, you might have to make a PDF of that, it sounds like.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah.
The Running Man.
The Running Man.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
when it comes to sleep, there's some very definite things I think that people already know, but I think it bears reminding. I think the most important thing is to have intentional sleep rather than sleep by default. So sleep by default means you fall asleep on the couch, you fall asleep watching TV. You know, this is sleep by default. So intentional sleep means that you make a decision. It's time for me to go to bed. I'm going to turn off all the devices. I'm going to turn off the TV. I'm going to quiet my mind, and I'm going to go to sleep. So, you know, your body responds to habitual sleep patterns, which we can call this sleep hygiene. So going to bed at the same time, getting up at the same time can really lend itself to a deep, restful night's sleep. It's helpful if your bedroom is cooler. It's hard to sleep when you're hot. Your body wants to cool down when you sleep. It's difficult to sleep after watching a screen like a phone or a tablet, which refreshes its image many, many times a second. So this can stimulate your brain and keep you from sleeping. Alcohol may allow you to fall asleep, but won't allow you to get a deep sleep because of the sugar in the alcohol could wake you up in the middle of the night. So those are just a few kind of very simple things, but I think for most people that have trouble turning their minds off before they go to bed, and this, in my practice, this is the biggest problem people have, is like, I can't turn my mind off. That's when they decide that they're going to start trying to solve life and world problems. That's the worst time to solve problems with your head on a pillow. You're just not, you don't have the mental capability to do that. So some kind of before bed routine, calming routine, whether it's stretching or reading a book or taking a hot bath or drinking some non-caffeinated tea, these kind of rituals tell the body, hey, it's time to go to sleep, calm the mind, and lend themselves to a more deep, restful night's sleep. So that's what I got for you.
Cool.
Question. Aren't we usually like hypnotized kind of in a hypnotic state like before we go to sleep and when we first wake up? If I heard you say that?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So about half an hour before our usual bedtime, about half an hour after we wake up, we're in that kind of trance state, that transition between sleep and wakefulness. So our minds are very suggestible. That's the absolute worst time to watch the news or to watch something disturbing, you know, or to go over your finances. That's the worst time to have an argument with your spouse or partner, you know.
Or QVC,
so you want to be careful what you're.
Unless you're really rich, right? Then you can just check your bank account balance and feel super happy and then go to sleep.
True.
Yeah.
True that.
Now I can sleep.
True that. Right. Open the safe, look at the big wad of money in there, go, yeah, I'm sleeping well tonight.
Maybe I should make money pillows. Maybe that's my problem.
Ooh, I love that idea.
Money pillows and money sheets, right? A good thing to do right before bed is, and after waking up, is to write a gratitude list, write down what you accomplished that day, write down the things you're grateful for, as well as the things you're going to do tomorrow, positive affirmations. Those are all good things to do, not only before you go to bed, but after you go up.
I also found during stressful times that just being able to go to bed and go to sleep is just awesome. To take the time to say, this is a slice of time when nobody's going to bother me and I can just go to sleep and tomorrow's going to be a new day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can be really powerful, you know.
It feels like the ultimate in self-care, especially if you go to bed a little bit earlier than usual.
Yeah. That's why I think you shouldn't underestimate the power of having a really great bed and a great sleeping space. You know, in fact, I have quite a few tools in my nutrition practice, you know, infographics and things for people for sleep hygiene. And one of the tips on one of my infographics does point out that you should really create an optimal sleeping space. Don't cram a lot of don't try to cram a lot of stuff into your bedroom. If you work at home, don't try not to have your office be in your bedroom. Like we haven't had a television in our bedroom for years, and it's great not having a television. Now, you know, I take a laptop to bed, which is probably really bad. So, but I'm really glad there's not a TV in my room too. So, you know, yeah. And then also, what can I think of from a nutrition standpoint? I mean, from a purely clinical nutrition standpoint, if it's related to stress, there's a lot of evidence that points to insomnia or trouble with sleep onset with an imbalance in your nervous system and your endocrine system, usually your adrenals are out of balance. So people go right to you look at the common sleeping herbs or sleeping remedies that you could buy like at Sprouts, and it's always like melatonin, herbs, things like that. But you can actually have more success actually just supporting your endocrine system and supporting your nervous system. So making sure your minerals are balanced, making sure that you're managing actually the stress in the day. And then that's actually going to inadvertently have a more underlying supportive impact on your sleep, right? I noticed that when I eat a lot more vegetables, I get more balance of minerals and I sleep better, which is interesting. And that's probably a blood sugar thing too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Stacey,
You know,
what about
Harvey,
from an exercise? What's that?
I remember one time you and I were talking about what I ate, and I was managing, you know, vegetables and carbohydrates. You actually had me have like my carbohydrates. You suggested I have that at my last meal.
Oh yeah, that's a circadian rhythm carb cycling theory
Yeah.
introduced by what's his name? Alan Christensen. He's a doctor, and he has a book called The Adrenal Reset Diet.
Yeah.
And he studied this on patients only in his office, but his what he implies is that cortisol is actually the stress hormone is actually it has a purpose. Our bodies wouldn't make the hormone if it didn't have a good purpose, right? Problem is our cortisol is all not being secreted at the right times for us in our modern life. It's kind of rogue, right? Rogue cortisol. So this diet supports increased cortisol production in the morning, which is when you want cortisol. Like imagine go back to caveman times when you get up in the morning and you got to go out and find some food for your family and get back before a dinosaur kills you. So your cortisol, you want your cortisol then, right? Yeah. But when you get back, you want the cortisol to calm down, and you want your serotonin and your other relaxing hormones to then dominate. So this diet, by cycling carbs, so the refined carbs and that come with the standard American diet that many of us eat in the first half of our day and sometimes all day long, it actually inhibits the cortisol, and it puts our circadian rhythms out of whack. So by keeping your breakfast more protein focused, fat focused, and more whole vegetable focused into the day, and then if you're going to add like some starchy carbs like rice or pasta or something, have it closer to the end of the day. That's supposed to have more of a calming effect because the carbs actually quiet down your cortisol.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have but I wouldn't have like highly refined carbohydrates right before. No. You know what I mean? No. Because that's going to create a blood sugar thing, which is a separate issue from the hormones, right?
Right. Well, it was a good suggestion because you know me as my nutritionist, and it was tailored to me. But it was really helpful talking to you about that.
Yeah, and that must have come up as something that was appropriate to look at for you.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the individual, but yeah, for sure. Anyway, Stacey, what about from an exercise standpoint to help people? What do you tell your clients?
Well, cortisol, you guys already presented a lot of great information, but cortisol is a big thing for just recovery and gaining muscle. Everyone wants to gain the muscle, lose the fat. And to piggyback on what Ted was saying, is we just have to get into routine, especially during this time of COVID-19. So getting to sleep, waking up in the morning, despite our not so stringent routines per se, but get up at the same time, start off with a walk, at least maybe 20 minutes just to get the cortisol low. Anything that is going to stress your system is actually going to increase cortisol. And a lot of that is just fat retention around the mid-waist, and no one likes that. And start off with a good breakfast, and like Harvey mentioned, high protein, and then later in the evening with the carbohydrates. But especially this time, it's about relaxation and calming your nerves. And with anxiety and depression on the rise, walking is the number one suggestion I'm giving to all my clients, because it's easy to do. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need any equipment. A lot of the stuff, once they're done with that, they feel accomplished. And so once they're back home after the 20-minute walk, they could come back in and do some body weight exercises and switch it up, have their meal, work from home, and spend time with their family. It's all about just taking it easy on our systems. Our central nervous system is so fired right now, and I'm sure some days are better than others. I can speak from experience. Some days I'm just like, I don't want to get out of the bed. And other days I wake up and I'm like, okay, this is not so bad, you know? And we just have to be kind to ourselves. And a lot of it is starting with our brain. Melatonin is usually produced at the highest between 9 and 10:30 in the evening. So I tell my clients to try to aim to go to sleep around that time. Easier said than done. We're all Netflixing, watching, let's say, The Wire, which I'm hooked on. And it's not necessarily the best thing to watch before. It's a great show, but some of the images, they stick in your head. And I couldn't sleep one night because I saw something. I was like, that is just too overwhelming. I was overstimulated. So it's just a nice reminder to be careful how much news we watch, and, with our phones, and, who we talk to and what we take in, and just the mental aspect of it. But just try to get in as much as you can, and be kind to yourself. If you don't feel like it, if you want to take that nap, no more than 20 minutes. And just keep your immunity up, because with sleep, your immune system is strong. Without it, everything just comes crashing down, and you just can't be good for yourself or anyone around you. Cool. And a lot of vitamin C, vitamin D. I've been upping my vitamin D, which helps with sleep. Magnesium at night. On certain occasions where anxiety is high, I've even done CBD oil, where there's you don't get any reaction of highness from it, but it just kind of relaxes my muscles, and I'm able just to go into a deeper sleep instead of a very light sleep. So that's mainly it. It's been I've been getting good feedback from everyone.
What about exercises? Are there any good exercises for relaxing, like before bed or anything? Like a favorite bedtime stretch routine or anything?
Yeah, a lot of times, because we're sitting so much, hip flexor stretches, shoulder, neck exercises. We don't want to stimulate the central nervous system too much. So you probably want to do the stretching 2 hours before you go to bed. Mm-hmm. But a lot of shoulder, people tend to have it here, but a lot of my clients have lower back pain. So strengthen the glutes, right, Christine?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just stretch our hip flexors out.
Cool.
Right. And it's just to try to do as much as you can during the day, not too close to bedtime, or else you're just stimulated and you can't fall asleep. But stretching, light cardio, and depending on the equipment you have at home. If you have weights, great. If you don't, body weight's just as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And program specifications. I dropped you guys.
There you are.
Nice recess lighting.
Oh, thanks. As far as programs, it's so individual, and I probably don't want to get into it during our conversation, but I've trained mostly all of you guys, so.
I know, it's great.
Oh, I love training with you because you always tell me I'm strong.
You are. I'm just like, look at that form, my Harvey.
I know, same.
Yeah.
I always
Well,
feel
no,
like
you can tell everyone they're strong. That'll ruin it for me.
Aw.
She doesn't tell me that. She tells me
I'm
I'm
actually- I actually
my
am very strong.
exercise.
I'm just joking around.
Driven.
So Robin, I would imagine with the photo shoots that you, there's got to be a sleep factor, right? With people being prepared for their shoots and looking amazing and stuff.
Well, actually,
tips
even
you
more
tell your
so
people?
than that, you'd be surprised at how photography and portraiture can really shift your perspective and your mood. And so it really ties into what you were talking about in preparing your space. You, Harvey, were talking about in preparing your space for sleep. And also what Ted was talking about with that you're in a hypnotic state right before you go to bed. So it really matters what you put in your mind during that time. So I think one of the things that I've always done is I make my bed when I get up. And I did it when I was little because I wanted to come home from school and I wanted to walk into a room that was clean so I could just jump on my bed and lay there or do homework or something. And it's stuck. And so I don't feel right if I don't make my bed in the morning. And if I see it later in the day, I mean, it rarely happens. But also another thing that I think I've always done is surrounded myself with pictures of the people that I love or pictures of myself that I love. And I think that in curating what's going into your mind during these times specifically, we can really affect that in a positive way by the images of our loved ones and of ourselves that we choose to put up in our homes, but especially around our bed. So I would say choose some positive words that you want to feel, like serene or joyful or just loving, those sort of things. And I'm going to show you the photos that I have in my room, which I took these when I was 26. Let me switch my camera. So I took a picture of my bedroom and then I put Post-it notes on my computer screen so that there is privacy. But these are fine art nudes because I am a portrait and boudoir photographer. But I took these photos of my husband and I when we were like 26. And they've been hanging in my bedroom for a long time. So I like to just, because they're very calming to me and they're artful and I just love to like see the symmetry and I go to sleep because I sleep on my side. Sorry, with my hand on the pillow properly.
I want to make sure that I don't forget to mention one of the most awesome before bed activities, listening to one of Ted's recordings.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I do that quite often,
I have
especially my custom ones.
Yeah, the custom ones.
Yeah.
The ones that he speaks into your phone.
Yeah.
The 20 minutes.
I honestly don't know what I would do these last few months without my without Ted in my head.
Yeah.
The best thing I ever heard from a client I referred to Ted once was, she said, "Oh my God, I don't know if hypnosis works, but it's great just to have someone telling you how great you are for 20 minutes."
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Right. Well, I know that we didn't want to have too much of a long meeting today, so I guess we do need to wrap it up. I'm watching the time for us. Does anyone else have any other closing thoughts?
No, these are all really good tips. I'm glad we got
I'm glad we did this.
about it.
We're gonna have to do this again on another subject. I'm finding this very helpful, everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let me say one more thing, if I may.
Please do.
Let me say one more thing. So sleep is right up there with food and oxygen. Don't skimp on sleep.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean,
I'm going to go take a nap right now.
yeah. And I'm
I'm gonna go
it's
take a
so
walk.
easy to take naps right now. No, and I'm going to add to what Ted said. I mean, we evaluate sleep and recovery and nutrition coaching all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of clients focus on the push and the workout and the discipline, but they're not getting the results because they're actually pushing too hard. They're not recovering. You know?
Yeah, you need the recovery to come back stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Sleep is so important.
Yeah. And your body has to sleep. I mean, Stacy, you mentioned the muscle recovery. I mean, you need that sleep time to get that recovery, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks
Yeah.
everyone. It was good seeing everybody.
Yeah, you too.
Aw.
It's always
Thank
fun
you,
to
guys.
see the inside of
Everybody.
everyone's
Thank you.
houses.
Yeah.
All right.
See you soon.
Everyone have a
Bye.
great day. Enjoy it. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.